Welcome back to another episode of Royally Rumbled. I'm your host, Jordan.
I'm your other host, Robert.
Today, we're here for episode 12, and we are covering WWE Backlash, live this Sunday from the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey.
Right around the corner from my dad's house. So you want to just get right into it? We'll just get right into it.
Yeah, we might as well. I mean,
All right.
We got a stacked card. This is the first dual-branded pay-per-view. Now, after the Superstar shakeup, after the Greatest Royal Rumble, we're here. The storylines are starting to settle. The next year of Raw and SmackDown are starting to take shape.
Yeah, we're still working out the kinks from the Superstar shakeup immediately after WrestleMania. But following this pay-per-view, I believe all of those kinks will have been worked out. This will end any ongoing confusion, and moving forward, everything will be pretty streamlined, I believe. But then again, it is WWE, so you never know. First up, we have a tag team match featuring Braun Strowman and Bobby Lashley against Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
The newly crowned Greatest Royal Rumble champion, Braun Strowman, will join forces with Bobby Lashley as they attempt to dismantle Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. And I guess when we had talked about Braun Strowman winning in our last episode, he wasn't actually able to bring the trophy or the title back with him through security at the Saudi airport. This whole program started after Raw Commissioner Stephanie McMahon overruled General Manager Kurt Angle and allowed Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens to bring the Yep movement to Raw. The Olympic hero opted to treat the outspoken duo to a tag team showdown against Strowman and Lashley. Though the ensuing chaos was in no way a surprise, Zayn caught such an intense beatdown at the hands of the Monster Among Men and the Dominator that it apparently caused Zayn's supposed vertigo, the condition that would keep the superstar out of the Greatest Royal Rumble match. He fortunately recovered by the following Monday when he, Owens, and Jinder Mahal were defeated by Strowman, Lashley, and Roman Reigns in a six-man tag team match. So now Owens and Zayn have proven that they are truly as dangerous as they are devious, but will they find a way to survive the wrath of their destructive opponents?
So, a couple questions going into this match here. If Lashley was going to be Strowman's partner all along, why wasn't this done as a surprise at WrestleMania?
Mm-hmm.
Instead, we got a 10-year-old. Strowman and Lashley are obviously a powerful team, but was this really the creative for Lashley's return? Be some rando tag partner for all of the faces? This almost exactly mirrors AJ Styles' arrival in WWE. Show up, tag for 3 months, have a match against your former partner, and move on. So, we're probably looking at Braun versus Lashley this summer. Owens and Zayn got an incredible reaction on Raw from their native Canada, and they never have bad matches. These guys always deliver. So who you got winning?
So, what I'm thinking here is the whole vertigo thing with Sami Zayn could come into play, costing these two another match. And it seems like Raw has found a way to place their new talent from SmackDown Live into prime positions on their roster, only to put their already established stars over them. However, on the other hand, I could also see Strowman and Lashley butting heads here, setting up something for the two for them to face off. I think it's more than likely considering when you look at the overall card, but we'll get into that later. So, I have Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn winning.
I disagree. I have Strowman and Lashley winning.
See, the reason I'm going that way is because Strowman and Lashley have already defeated Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, and they've been defeating Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn since they showed up on Raw. So, therefore, I think Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are going to pick up the win here, and I'm thinking it's going to be because it's going to set up for Bobby Lashley and Braun Strowman. Just like you said, he's not really doing anything, so maybe the plan all along was to have Strowman versus Lashley.
No, I agree with that assessment. I just think that they're going to try to squeeze a little bit longer out of it before they turn it into a match between the two of them. That's why I think they go over here, and then we kind of build for another month before we get a match between the two.
Well, if they wanted that, then they should have had Bobby Lashley be the surprise opponent for the WrestleMania match. But we got a 10-year-old.
But we got a 10-year-old. Hashtag, but we got a 10-year-old.
That's a bad... Don't hashtag that. Nobody should even search that hashtag. Ring the bell.
Next up, we have a singles match between Roman Reigns and Samoa Joe.
At WrestleMania 34, Reigns engaged Universal Champion Brock Lesnar in an absolutely brutal match, and although he gave it everything he had by kicking out of 5 F5s, the big dog came up short. The following night, a defeated Roman Reigns emerged on Raw to learn the Beast had been re-signed by WWE and that they would square off for the Universal title at the Greatest Royal Rumble inside a steel cage. As he took issue with learning this news on the internet, the big dog was suddenly interrupted by returning Samoa Joe. The Samoan submission machine made it clear that he was sick of hearing Roman make excuses and that they would square off at Backlash. So, once again, we could add Samoa Joe to the list of matchmakers with Lana, Naomi, Shane McMahon, Daniel Bryan, Paige, Kurt Angle, Stephanie McMahon. The list just keeps on growing, baby. But in a sudden, strange turn of events, Joe was traded to SmackDown Live the following Tuesday. But we've talked about how the booking for this doesn't make any sense in our last episode. But now the dust has settled after the Greatest Royal Rumble. We know this match isn't for a title. It's going to be a one-and-done type of match. There's no telling how much destruction will occur when they once again lock horns for probably what will be the last time for at least a little while this Sunday.
And with Reigns, the alleged chosen one, still not the champ, what the hell is the plan? Is he still somehow the number one contender for that title that is virtually meaningless? How does he again qualify for another title shot down the road? Who the hell wants to see Reigns versus Lesnar again?
Yeah, we've said over and over again that we never want to see Reigns versus Lesnar ever again. And Reigns doesn't deserve another shot after this. Let's move on from Lesnar and Reigns already.
Yeah, and I'd like to see Joe win this match here to put Reigns down further character-wise. He can't get a W anywhere. Make him need a win. But I have a sneaking suspicion that Roman Reigns is going to be the victor this Sunday.
There really isn't much indication where either superstar will wind up after this match. Moving Joe to SmackDown completely eliminates any stakes that they would have originally had in the match. It's very disappointing. I'm going to have to go with Samoa Joe here. Speaking of something you said you didn't want to see, as you said in our last episode, you don't want to see Samoa Joe versus AJ Styles, but if this past Tuesday's SmackDown is any indication, it seems like Samoa Joe is falling into line to challenge for the WWE Championship, as he boldly claimed that after he puts the big dog to sleep, he's coming after the championship. Which I'd be all for, depending on if Joe walks away victorious from this match.
Yeah, I'd be for it. I just don't want to hear the criticism of it, is all.
So you got Roman Reigns. I got Samoa Joe.
Yep. Moving on, we have a singles match between Daniel Bryan and Big Cass.
When Bryan returned to in-ring competition prior to WrestleMania, everyone was inspired by the four-time world champion's refusal to give up on his unrelenting drive to chase down his dream. Everyone, except for Big Cass. Coming to SmackDown Live as part of the 2018 Superstar Shakeup and making his return after suffering a knee injury 8 months ago, Big Cass made it very clear from the get-go that he was not impressed with Bryan's comeback story. On the contrary, he opted to lay out the yes man during a sneak attack on the April 17th edition of SmackDown. 1 week later, Bryan was scheduled to be the guest on Miz TV. Big Cass made his way down to appear on the show. The irate superstar expressed his frustration that his own return to action had been overshadowed by that of Bryan's, and he promised that the subject of his animosity would never again be able to cast a shadow over him. Moments later, it was discovered that Daniel Bryan had been attacked from behind backstage. As a result, Bryan asked SmackDown General Manager Paige to set up a match between the two superstars at Backlash, promising that it won't matter how big his opponent is when he makes him tap out.
What a huge opportunity this is for Big Cass. We already know he can cut a promo, and he's done so the last 2 weeks, and he's absolutely crushed it. We also know that Daniel Bryan always delivers. The greatest Royal Rumble match was just his 4th match back, and he went 70-plus minutes. I'm unsure of where this feud is heading, but given how it's already played out, I think Cass is going over here, and a huge heel push is in store for him. I think he is naturally a better face, and is someone the crowd really can get behind, and they have in the past. So we'll see. I have Big Cass winning.
I, too, also have Big Cass winning. You know, ever since WWE announced The Miz versus Daniel Bryan at the UK house shows in May, I have a feeling like they're going to go with Cass winning over Bryan. Cass needs all the momentum he can get, and Bryan is definitely going to pull an excellent match out of the 7-footer, and you can't teach that. But, speaking of that, they've done a really good job distancing Cass from his previous character. You know, we discussed his Miz TV promo, and it seemed like they were just tossing everything at the wall and seeing what would stick. I'm enjoying it so far.
I definitely agree with that, for sure.
So you got Cass, I got Cass, Big Cass is going over.
Ring the bell. Following that, we have a singles match for the United States title, featuring the champion Jeff Hardy facing off against Randy Orton.
Yeah, this is a weird one. By defeating Bobby Roode to capture the U.S. title at Fastlane, the Viper became a Grand Slam champion, a milestone that includes 13 reigns as world champion. Then, after losing the red, white, and blue title at WrestleMania, he wasted no time getting back in the game by overcoming Bobby Roode and Rusev in a fast-paced triple threat match for the right to challenge Jinder Mahal at Backlash. Now, fast forward a couple weeks, and Jeff Hardy is now on the blue brand as the United States champion. Though this sudden turn of events ruined Orton's plans for a rematch against Mahal, he soon made it clear that he didn't care who he had to defeat to win the title back. This past Tuesday on SmackDown, The Miz tried to stir the pot and poke at the tension between Hardy and Orton, who both claimed they were cool. Hardy and Orton would team up and pick up a victory against The Miz and Shelton Benjamin. However, the Apex Predator would drop the charismatic Enigma with a post-match RKO out of nowhere. Which I called on Twitter, by the way. So if you're not following us on Twitter, you're missing out.
Yeah, like you said, Jeff and Randy unsurprisingly tagged together on SmackDown Live. They unsurprisingly got the win, and Hardy unsurprisingly ate an RKO after the match. I think they know how boring Randy is, so they put him with Jeff, who isn't.
Yeah, and Hardy and Orton have natural chemistry, and it practically writes itself. So they've built the story pretty well, considering the shakeup and all the changes in the titles and all that. And adding Shelton Benjamin to the mix was the right way to go. We mentioned on Twitter that having Benjamin in there with The Miz, Hardy, and Orton must be a big vote of confidence for him.
Yeah, so I have Jeff Hardy retaining.
Yeah, Jeff deserves to retain here, and I could see it. Hopefully, we might get an Orton heel turn here. The problem with that is there's currently no mid-card on SmackDown. So going forward, it will be interesting to see where they put the United States Championship. Probably on the back burner, as you have to imagine that they'd put Jeff in the Money in the Bank ladder match, right?
Oh, man, I hope so.
Jeff's got to win Money in the Bank, dude. I'm hoping.
Well, I don't even need him to win it. I just want him in that match. I don't think he's ever been.
Nope. The mark in me is like going nuts right now. Hopefully that this means that we get Shelton doing more fun singles stuff going forward. I've been itching for a singles Shelton Benjamin run since they announced that he was going to return. And I also really miss his old theme. I guess there actually is stopping him.
Well, there was no stopping him now, meaning then. But maybe because it's the future, now means then, so they're stopping him now.
I'm sorry, I've gone cross-eyed.
Ring the bell. Speaking of mid-card titles, we have a match between Seth Rollins, the Intercontinental Champion, taking on The Miz.
At WrestleMania 34, Rollins dethroned The Miz in a tooth-and-nail triple threat match that also included Finn Balor. The win earned him the prestigious distinction of being a Grand Slam champion. As a first-time Intercontinental champion, the Architect is certainly looking to construct a nice, long reign. A frustrated and furious former Intercontinental champion, The Miz, wasted no time invoking his rematch clause for a chance to reacquire his illustrious Intercontinental title, which I'm sure we all agree that he helped put that title on the map. On the Raw after WrestleMania, the A-lister denied Rollins' suggestion they square off right then and there and declared the two should clash at Backlash. So, The Miz is now a matchmaker along with Lana, Naomi, Shane McMahon, Daniel Bryan, Paige, Kurt Angle, Stephanie McMahon.
It'll almost be easier to announce who doesn't make matches.
The Miz was then sent to SmackDown the following week during the Superstar Shakeup. And once again, another feud is ruined because of it. Who you got here?
Well, I've got Seth Rollins retaining, but I think this match should be a fun show stealer, and I'll put it down as my match of the night contender. The Miz's attire on SmackDown Live was awesome. I just want to point that out. And then this past Monday, Seth and Finn tore the house down again. So hopefully there's more coming from them because I want to see them be able to do that over and over again. I could watch them face off all the time. Also, just a quick note, WWE Hall of Famer Mark Henry on SiriusXM's Busted Open Radio said of Seth Rollins, quote, "He's getting into that great stratosphere, beyond elite." That's high praise from a newly minted Hall of Famer. And I can't really disagree with him. Both Jordan and I are huge Seth fans, and for a while now. I picked him as my favorite coming out of the Shield when they first came on the scene. I love that he was the first to hold a major title of the group as well.
Yeah, unfortunately, he's the last to become a Grand Slam champion. Regardless, Rollins and Miz both participated in the Fatal 4-Way Ladder match at Greatest Royal Rumble, and each had their fair share of jaw-dropping moments. However, Rollins walked away victorious. Since then, I had completely forgotten that this match was set to take place. With Rollins dealing with Balor on Raw, and Miz with Bryan and Miz TV, it's not really a surprise that this match has kind of fallen through the cracks for most fans, which is problematic because the crowd won't be invested in this. Rollins is the easy pick to win here. Rollins is going to continue to Money in the Bank dealing with Balor, and Miz will easily slip into a large profile match with Daniel Bryan on SmackDown. Now, what are the chances of us getting The Miz as WWE champion at some point in 2018?
I wouldn't say it's slim. I'd give him a decent chance at that title, but it would have to change hands a few times before he gets his hands on it.
Could this be foreshadowing? Stick around and find out. Maybe we'll be talking about this. You heard it here first. Episode 12. The Miz, future WWE champion at some point in 2018.
I love it. I love it.
When you really like it, you want more.
Our next match is a singles match for the Raw Women's title, featuring the champion Nia Jax defending against Alexa Bliss.
There was a time when Jax and Bliss were best friends. Or so we were led to believe. The irresistible force could always be counted on to help the goddess of the WWE hold on to her title whenever she was in a jam. Their relationship came crashing down, however, when Bliss was caught mocking her longtime cohort backstage on the road to WrestleMania. Then at the Show of Shows, Jax rose above the hate and bested 5 Feet of Fury to lay claim to her first Raw Women's Championship. After several attempts to paint Nia as the bully rather than the victim, Bliss made it known that she's gunning for her 5th women's title in her rematch against Jax at Backlash. I was unaware that Alexa Bliss is a 4-time women's champion, but it's true. So I've got to ask, do you think she's picking up her 5th women's championship?
I do not. I do not have faith that this match will be any good. I'm totally not invested. I don't like this BS bullying story. I think it's boring. And Alexa hasn't wrestled since WrestleMania. So I'm saying Nia Jax retains.
Yeah, the backstage segments have been horrible. At least they've been kind of produced well. I hate them, but Bliss does everything that she's given well.
Yeah, she really owns the character. I just don't care what they're saying because it's not a story that I care about, and they haven't done a good job creatively or writing wise to make me care. I mean, Nia Jax is a grown woman and she can't handle one person saying something mean about her. She doesn't sign into social media, does she?
Yeah, Nia wasn't even on the show this week, so the build is dependent on these promos. I'd like Alexa to win, but honestly, it doesn't even matter. I kind of just want it to be over. That being said, I have Alexa Bliss winning.
Interesting.
Which in no doubt will involve more matches, but we just got to get that title off Nia Jax. There's no one else to challenge her.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
Nia should have been sent to SmackDown.
She should have been, and there's no easy way to transition somebody else into that role unless it's Ronda, but Ronda's been coming to people's rescue when they're getting attacked. So it might be Riot Squad moving in, but, that's neither here nor there, I guess, yet anyway.
Yeah, creative has to actually build their storylines. It doesn't help that they weren't involved at the Greatest Royal Rumble, so an entire pay-per-view passed with zero build.
Yeah. But in an interesting other side of the coin, our next match is the singles match for the SmackDown Live Women's Championship, and that features the champion Carmella up against Charlotte Flair.
WrestleMania saw Charlotte Flair overcome the undefeated Asuka in an epic showdown between two of WWE's elite superstars. However, 2 days later, Charlotte's celebration was cut short by a vicious attack from the debuting Iconics, which I hate their name. They should have just kept them the Iconic Duo. They just added another I. It's going to be confusing. Wrestling fans can't spell the way it is. Come on.
I agree.
Regardless, Carmella seized the moment and cashed in the Money in the Bank she'd been holding longer than any superstar in WWE history. Carmella captured her first SmackDown Women's Championship after a wicked kick. Though dynamic catchphrases and celebrations have since followed, perhaps giving the impression to some members of the WWE universe that Mella is money, there's still one small obstacle in her plan, namely Charlotte's contractually obligated rematch. And if the volatile contract signing was any indication, Carmella may find her title reign over before she can even experience a celebratory parade through Staten Island. Charlotte's a 6-time women's champion and is one of many superstars responsible for the women's evolution. After having her title stolen away from her, there's no doubt that she'll be more determined than ever to set things right.
Carmella's promos have been great since she became a champion. She's a phenomenal heel. I love how cocky the two of them are at one another. I believe that Carmella is going to use every heel tactic in the book, and she's going to retain.
Yeah, like we said, the build for this has actually been really good. I'm really into Carmella as a cocky showboat, and the contract signing between the two really focused my attention to this match. It's an interesting thing to note, though. Carmella hasn't had a singles match on a pay-per-view since December of 2016.
Wow.
That being said, I think Charlotte's going to be able to pull a great match out of her, and I'm really, really looking forward to this. I think Carmella's going to retain here, be it from the Iconics interference or something else, but I don't think her reign's over yet.
And our main event of the evening is a no disqualification singles match for the WWE Championship, featuring our champion AJ Styles defending against Shinsuke Nakamura.
The intense rivalry between AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura is destined to reach a fever pitch when these two superstars once again square off for the WWE title in a no disqualification match this Sunday. Shinsuke Nakamura won the 2018 Men's Royal Rumble match and went on to challenge the Phenomenal One at WrestleMania 34 in what many fans deemed a dream match. After Styles successfully defended the WWE Championship in a hard-fought encounter on the grandest stage of them all, the King of Strong Style suddenly struck a vicious low blow that forever tarnished the instant classic. The nefarious artist would follow up with several strategic sneak attacks en route to their greatest Royal Rumble rematch. Along the way, he would meet any and all inquiries about his behavior with a sudden inability to speak English, which I thought was amazing, and we've touched on that in the Greatest Royal Rumble episode. By the time the two competitors reached Saudi Arabia, their mutual animosity proved to be so explosive, the match spilled to the outside, igniting a brawl that left neither superstar willing to answer the referee's 10 count. As a result, the contest was left with no clear winner. Unsatisfied, the Phenomenal One added fuel to the fire by unleashing a post-match assault out of sheer frustration. SmackDown General Manager Paige later declared that both superstars went beyond the bounds of good sportsmanship in Saudi Arabia and said there must be a clear winner at Backlash, making the contest a no disqualification match. That being said, who you got and why?
Well, because it's a no disqualification match, you have to imagine that Nakamura is just going to speedbag AJ's groin here, right?
I mean, the build for the match has been done to death with the multiple low blows.
So he's just gonna get in there and just Rocky style, just slap at AJ's groin until it's over. I think this will be a good match. I feel like personally they underperformed at WrestleMania a bit, and I think they had a great showing at Greatest Royal Rumble. So I think they're hitting their stride. I think this is it for AJ. Unfortunately, a great title run, but it won't be his last by a long shot. So I have Shinsuke Nakamura winning his first WWE Championship.
See, I disagree. I think Nakamura has come out already playing his hand with the multiple low blows, and I think AJ is due to reverse it. I've seen some people on Twitter suggest AJ is going to get hit with a low blow, and he's going to reach in and pull a cup out. And that is why I see AJ winning this match, because he hasn't countered any of the underhanded tactics yet. This will more than likely be the last time we see this feud for now, which is fine. And I'm hoping Joe will win and AJ will win, and they'll go on to feud for the title.
I'm only saying that if Shinsuke wins, Joe versus Shinsuke we've seen is a very interesting matchup.
Yeah, but we've seen it.
The WWE Universe has not seen it. The NXT Universe has seen it.
I just don't like heel versus heel matches.
No, me either. There would have to be a definite change there. I just have a feeling that Shinsuke's finally going to win this one.
See, but then you can't eliminate AJ from that match, so you'd have to throw AJ in and make it a triple threat.
Oh, that's fine. I would love a triple threat between them. That'd be
Money
great.
in the Bank.
Hell yeah.
See, I wouldn't mind AJ versus Joe at Money in the Bank and have Shinsuke Nakamura walk away with the Money in the Bank.
But he's already in the title picture, so he doesn't need to win the Money in the Bank. I want them to give that to somebody who's younger and doesn't have a clear path to the title. Shinsuke's already attempted to win it. This will be the third time.
Well, we saw how well that worked out for Baron Corbin.
Yeah, that was different. They didn't believe in him. They gave it to him prematurely.
Let's give it to Ty Dillinger.
Yeah, let's do it.
I mean, he still wrestles, right?
That's what I hear. People still like him, I think. I like him. I just don't ever see him.
He's stuck doing backstage segments with R-Truth.
Oh, God.
Anyway, so I've got AJ retaining.
And I've got Shinsuke.
It'll be interesting.
It will.
It's interesting to point out, too, that there's no tag team title matches on this card.
Yeah, we led with the tag title, or just the tag match, I'm sorry. And as I was putting the card together, I realized there was no tag team title match, which doesn't really make any sense.
Well, ever since a 10-year-old won the titles on Raw, it doesn't matter, and we haven't seen the Bludgeon Brothers or the Usos since Greatest Royal Rumble.
Yeah, it's weird.
So once again, the dual-branded pay-per-views are starting to show their effects. So
yeah, and the Usos are left off another pay-per-view.
So unless we're getting 5-hour shows, we're probably going to have to sacrifice a match or two. And these two matches wouldn't be the ones that I would sacrifice.
Me either. I agree.
You know, we had a good time at Backlash. I'm excited. Hopefully you're excited.
Very excited.
We're available on Podbean, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, SoundCloud, YouTube, and Facebook. You can go ahead and like us on Facebook. We are at Royally Rumbled. And where could they interact with us on the daily, Robert?
Oh, we are very active on the Twitter at Royally Rumbled. You can follow us there.
Or, if they're so inclined, they could follow us individually, right?
They sure could. They could follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Yesball. Where could they follow you, Jordan?
I'm on Twitter and Instagram at ALXSHPRD, Alex Shepard. Well, thank you everyone for listening. This has been episode 12, talking WWE Backlash.
We hope you enjoyed this one. Let us know what you think of it.
Yeah, let us know who you think's going to win.
It's going to be Shinsuke.
It's going to be AJ. I'm Jordan.
I'm Robert.
And remember, no guess
is as good as ours.